Hey Raffle Nation. Today we're going to take a look at another section of Water Street in the part of town we call Lacy Town. So we're going to look at the Lacy Town section of Water Street from Church Street all the way to Middle Street.
Oh, this is my day. I'm ready to take it on, come what may.
So this is in fact a commercial section of Water Street. And again, we're interested in finding out what a boardwalk would look like in this section of town. Clearly there has to be a major engineering feat to relocate a lot of the industrial buildings in this neighborhood, but we're interested in what is happening on the riverbank side of Water Street. So somewhere between the river and Water Street, there are plans to build this boardwalk. So guys, as you go along Water Street, what you'll notice is a stretch of commercial buildings. These are stores on either side of the street. And on the riverbank side, the major store here is National Hardware. National Hardware is like a Home Depot. So they actually sell all the home goods in the city. In this case, they're gearing up for Christmas. They've set up all these Christmas trees out there, out on the sidewalk. And in the store, this is in fact where I buy my hardware, my tools, and my household machinery, equipment and stuff. Last thing I bought here I think was a drill, an electric drill. So National Hardware is one of these go-to stores like Rona in Canada and like Home Depot in the US. And this is an important location for them. They've been here for a very long time, decades if I remember correctly. And to be able to set up a boardwalk behind National Hardware, first of all, we don't even know what's going on behind this store on the riverside. There might be port facilities. On the opposite side, you can see there are a number of dilapidated structures, buildings. This is also a National Hardware outlet on the opposite side of Water Street. So this is National Hardware's household supplies side. They sell drywall and doors and so on. So what I'm trying to do is to estimate what kind of work would have to be done to the riverbank side of Water Street. You're going to have to either move a lot of these commercial buildings. Here's a new building that's going up. So there's somebody's building a new high-rise building. I don't know if they were informed that there's going to be major engineering work on the riverbank to build this boardwalk, but look at this 4-story building that's going up near to National Hardware, and somebody's already completed about 50% of the structure, and that building is going to probably either have to be addressed. Maybe it's not going to disrupt the facilities, the boardwalk facilities that will be built in the back, but who knows. But this is Main Street, so right now it's a commercial side of the city with a lot of hardware stores. These stores sell mainly household furnishings, household goods, what are called durable goods. And as we get to the intersection with Water Street and Quamina Street, I decided to take a look at the riverbank itself by going to the end of Quamina Street. So if you walk down Quamina Street, what you'll find beyond what you can see here is a bunch of little homes, tiny homes where people have already decided to set up shop at the end of the street. And here are the sides of buildings or commercial buildings, commercial property that is walled up. So you don't really know what is behind these walls. But all of this has to be negotiated and has to be redeveloped, say, if you were going to make this into a walking neighborhood. So this is the river, what you can see of the river from the end of Quamina Street. Morning. Just want to take a picture of the river. That's the River. Morning. Nobody? Yeah, I just come to take some photographs of the river. Because you don't see the river from Water Street, right? And I want to see how close it is, so. So what we're talking about, guys, is gentrification. What we're talking about here on Water Street is gentrification. This is what we call gentrification in places like New York or London, where the old neighborhoods are being redeveloped into modern, either residential or commercial real estate. And so building a boardwalk along the riverbank here in Georgetown would in fact entail gentrification of this neighborhood. This used to be called Tiger Bay. So from Quamina Street northward between Water Street and Main Street used to be called Tiger Bay. And if you take a closer look at Tiger Bay right now, you'll see that it's not the same as it used to be 10, 20 or 30 years ago. It has already been majorly transformed. A lot of the families that used to live there have moved out, and it has already become gentrified in a major way. So what is about to happen to Water Street will be further gentrification. In fact, what I can imagine happening is that along this Water Street thoroughfare, and particularly on the riverbank side, will become tall, high-rise residential buildings, commercial buildings such as shops and malls, and either stores for recreation and to accommodate tourists, such as bars and restaurants and entertainment centers, or you'll get more retail commercial space, becoming more like a strip mall. And so that's the future. Now, what is interesting is that on the riverbank side, here we're looking at the old Guyana Stores Limited garage. So some of you might not remember that Guyana Stores, which was the national store, government-run store during the 70s and the 80s, 90s, used to sell cars too, and they had a garage. This is the old Guyana Stores garage building. And we're going to take a look inside. In fact, if we look inside through the windows, you will see some of the remnants of the garage, you know, some of the carports and remains of what used to be a service center for vehicles. And on the other side, there is this Matthias multi-story wholesale store. But this is an interesting location, and behind it is a contractor who has taken up all of the space between Guyana Stores Hardware, Guyana Stores Limited Garage building, and the riverbank. And that's what's inside. That's what's inside the store. This building has not been in use for quite some time. You can imagine. If you look down the street, we're coming up to the Weeping and Richter building, which is at the corner of Middle Street, or what would have been the extension of Middle Street, and Water Street. If you look down the end of this street, you can't really get access to the riverbank. But this is the old Weeping and Richter building, which is used to be called the ice factory. In fact, they still make ice in this building. This is still the ice factory, and used to be called the Weeping and Richter building. For those of you who are old Guyanese, know this location. It's Water Street, North Cummingsburg, and inside there they still sell ice. They still sell wholesale ice in commercial quantities. But this is the old ice house or ice factory, and so this building would also become part of the gentrification. You know, what will happen to Water Street is eventually all of these industrial structures and buildings will be affected, will be replaced perhaps by a more consumer-friendly, pedestrian-friendly neighborhood, where there will be stores that can take advantage of foot traffic, because building a boardwalk will entail drawing foot traffic, a lot of foot traffic to this neighborhood. And so if you look up at the end of this street, you can see where we were before in the last video. We looked at Battery Park coming from the old Marriott, from the new Marriott Hotel. So as you look down Water Street, you can see from where we left off in the last video, the Weeping and Richter building, that is the ice factory, all the way down to where we started here at the Guyana Stores roundabout. And all of this on the right hand side will be transformed by gentrification as the boardwalk takes shape. And so it's interesting to see what this street looks like now compared to what it looked like 20 or 30 years ago. For those of you who remember Water Street from 20 or 30 years ago, it was a major and a main street, main artery in Georgetown, and to what it will look like in 10 or 20 years once it is transformed, once it's gentrified, starting with the building of a boardwalk. This is what is happening in Guyana. Guys, if you like this kind of content, you want to see more content like this, click like and subscribe. I will actually continue this series of videos by looking at the rest of Water Street from in the Stabroek section. So right now we're in the Lacytown section, but we're going to start from the Stabroek section and work our way back to Lacytown, and then we're going to see what happens beyond Stabroek going further south, all the while investigating or analyzing what is likely to change and what is likely to stay the same as a boardwalk along the riverbank is built in 2019, because that is what the budget says. The budget for Guyana includes the building of this boardwalk. Later!